Is up? Trinity here. Welcome to another episode slash video for all things your professional dance career. Today we are going to talk about how you can stand out in the dance industry. Now, before I hop in, if you would like to go deeper in this topic, because here when I talk about certain things when I go live, I just kind of give everyone pretty great things, right? But it's just kind of like an overall kind of like precursor to ideas, concepts, things that you can go deeper in once you go over to my dance career resources and take advantage of those. So before I hop into this video, if you would like to go deeper into what we're going to be talking about today, which is how to stand out in the dance industry, make sure you go check out the links in my description, in my bio, and obviously if you follow me on Instagram, you can find the very helpful links there. And you specifically want to go and check out my dance career resources, that is over on the Dance Career Coach website. All right, so I have a question for you. When you think about standing out in the dance industry, what is the number one thing that comes to your mind? So I'm going to tell you what most dancers think. If someone had to tell them, let's imagine you're in an audition or you're in this sort of study, right? And you're in a room full of dancers, but also at the front of the room there are producers, execs, artistic directors, choreographers, things of that nature. And you get an inside scoop and someone tells you, hey, in order for you to get chosen for this huge, amazing, life-changing project, you have to stand out. Now, you will probably think in order for you to stand out, you have to put on a show. You may think that in order for you to stand out, in order for you to catch the eyes of the people in the front of the room, that you have to do something extra. You may try to formulate in your mind, okay, what can I do in order to make myself stand out and make the other dancers as if they're not here. But I have a question for you. If you need to stand out as a dancer in the dance industry, hi, but you cannot dance, you cannot do any dancing, how then would you stand out? Or have you thought about that? How are you going to stand out in the dance industry? Because I'm going to tell you, although I'm sure you know, there are hundreds and thousands of very, very gifted dancers. But how do you, as a dancer, how do you as a dance artist get to a place where you're not just another face in the crowd? How do you as a dance artist get to the place where people are noticing you when you step into the room? And it's not a fluke, you're not a one-hit wonder, but consistently when you step into a room, people are watching you. And I'm going to tell you something. This is something that you have to put time into. This is something that you have to work on implementing. And I talked about that in yesterday's live, because you cannot go into a space thinking you're going to have lasting impact, thinking that you're going to be memorable, thinking that people are always going to work with you in a deep way and for the long haul. If you feel like you can just flip a switch and like, oh my gosh, let me be the best dancer in the room. Let me have the highest jump. Let me have the straightest legs. Let me have the most banana feet. It's not going to happen. And so let me paint another picture for you. Yes, I am a professional dancer. Let me paint another picture for you. It is absolutely possible for you to get places within the dance industry, whether you are training right now or you're a professional or in whatever capacity, for you to get offers and for you to get recommended strictly off of your dance talent. Hey, we need somebody to do this. Can you do the step? Sure. We're going to give you this contract. Hey, can you learn this really quickly? Because we have to, put something on the road, sure, you can get that. Yeah, if that's what you want, cool, fine. Yes, obviously you have to be able to do the work. And we talk about that over here on this channel, that there's no hiding in dance because it's a very visceral, and it's a very vulnerable, and it's a very unforgiving profession, because the work is the work, the step is the step, the technique is the technique, right? But there is another level that dancers can go to that sort of locks them into history, that sort of causes them to not just be another face in the crowd and just be another dancer who gets booked, or another dancer who gets a gig, or another dancer who knows how to regurgitate choreography. Because, as I've said in previous lives, dancers just have that ability. Our memory is incredible. Sometimes I'm like, how? Like, how are we in rehearsal and we've literally gone through 4 different pieces and we somehow remember them all? It just comes together, right? But you also have a lot of dancers who are really talented, but they can't quite get to the level of, let's say, someone that they really look up to. Someone who has gone before us, decades before us, and who have gone on to transcend just the dance world, but to break out into other industries through their gift and through their talent of dance. How do you get there? So, standing out in this dance industry requires a few things. And the first thing that is really, really important, oh, thank you, is that you have to know your craft. You have to know your craft. I will say this until Jesus returns. You have to know your craft. Yes, I know there are a lot of innovative, talented people who conceptualize things, and they create based off of these ideas that they have, and they choreograph based off of ideas, and they build companies. This is fine and well, but I'm going to tell you, even the most creative, innovative people, they have done their work and they remain students of the craft. You have to know your craft. There is no space in this world, there is no scenario where you and I can say, I want to be a professional dancer, and then on top of that, I want to be seen in the dance world and I want to stand out, but I do not know the craft. Knowing the craft is very important because it kind of gives you just this different edge, right? So going back to what I said earlier, how is it possible for a dancer to walk into a space, get before people who've never seen them before, but then they be able to point you out when everyone is doing the same choreography? It is because the things that we're going to talk about right now, and the things that you implement right now, starting right now, this weird, amazing thing happens to where it begins to transform you from the inside out. So a dancer who knows the craft, for example, a dancer who practices professionalism, a dancer who has connection and movement, a dancer who practices authenticity and performance, and all the things that we've talked about, those things are working. And from the inside out, it just kind of like blossoms out of them. And so where you will have 50 to 80 dancers going over the same choreography, you will stand out because you've done the work of not only just training, but maximizing that training. Okay? So the first way you can stand out in the dance field, in this industry, is knowing the craft. That includes having connection to the movement. When you know the craft, and I'm not just saying like, terminology, or you're like, yeah, I can do a soutenu-san, I can do a flap. Not talking about that. But when you know the craft in a way that you care, that you carry movement even while learning it for the first time, in a way that says, hey, each time I do this, it's going to get more beautiful, even as I'm learning it, even as I make mistakes. You have a connection to the movement. This makes you stand out. Knowing the craft also means that it shows up in your performance, and it shows up into rehearsal. So it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a process that you as the dancer, you as the hired artist, are willing to endeavor upon because you know the craft. You see, this gets very it gets very involved when you say, I want to be a professional dancer for real. Not some of this stuff that we see on social media that is very fluffy and it's like, oh, just kind of be yourself. And, I'm just going to like film myself, just kind of like dancing around and call myself a professional dancer. No. Okay. So another way you can make yourself stand out in the dance field is by being humble, being humble, being humble. If you are a dancer who feels like you can do this all on your own, if you have all of the answers, if you the biggest and baddest baddie in the room, babe, no. No. And if you come in that place acting crazy, it's a no. It's a no. You have to be humble. And I'm going to tell you, I feel like maybe every dancer can attest to this. And that is, if you will not be humble, like literally, there are certain pieces of choreography, certain works, certain work environments that will humble you. You gotta be humble. And then this is another thing. When you are a dancer who also walks in humility, and you begin, implementing these things right now, it sort of opens you up to be able to handle all manner of situations. Not every dance space is the same. Not every director is the same. Not everyone choreographs the same. Not every workspace is the same. But when you start maximizing for your career right now, and at this point, since the top of September, I've been talking to you guys about different ways you can maximize your training starting today. That really does increase your depth as an artist, and it also increases your capacity as an artist. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of people today who are directing and things of that nature, they know what they're looking for. They know it when they see it. They have very trained eyes. And yeah, the things that I'm sharing with you right now really will help you stand out. So yeah, knowing the craft, being humble, and then also being helpful. That is you having a willingness to engage the process. You walking in grace, you walking in this light that says, I am here to learn. I am here, if need be, to unlearn. And I am here to do all of the things that I say I love and respect. And so I'm here for the ride. I am telling you, there is a place you can get to where in this dance industry you stand out. I've said it before in my other live videos, the craft of dance, the field of dance is craving authenticity, and it is craving professionalism. And we have to get back to that. Okay? Otherwise, the craft that we know and love will just into oblivion, and theaters will cease to be filled and everything of that nature. And so, yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. As always, I love being in this space with you. And until next time, happy dancing.